I recently gave the Marvel Legends Jean Grey a glowing review, but how will her fair clone fare? Find out in this week's review of Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wave 2, Goblin Queen. A mother without a baby, a wife without a husband, and a clone without a name.
Say my name, Scott.
After the real Jean Grey returned, Clone Jean changed her name to Madelyne Pryor, sent her baby away to the future, and left her husband.
Great Scott!
Prior to all that, Miss Pryor, now known as the Goblin Queen, was a sleeper agent for Mr. Sinister. While under his control, she subjected the X-Men to horrifying visions.
Articulation, bruh. Not sure what happened in that cloning process, but it does seem like Madelyne Pryor has a bigger head than Jean. But utilizing that ball joint as much as possible with all that hair, she can't look up or down really that much, can rotate right to left, and there's a little bit of tilt. The upper diaphragm joint does give her a little bit of crunch forward, more so back. There is some tilt, and there is rotation left to right. Unfortunately, there is nothing at the waist. The cape is pegged in at the back, but it's also glued in at the front, so you're not going to get that off unless you want to mod it and possibly put like a cloth cape on it. Arms rotate all the way up, but then gets hindered by the cape. There's a bicep swivel, a pinless double jointed elbow, arms ball and hinge straight out, hands rotate, hinging up and down, and unfortunately that wrist peg doesn't match the skin tone. Even with heels, she's not joining the Rockettes with that kick. She does kick out a good amount. There's an upper thigh swivel, pinless double jointed knees. The high heels allow for a swivel back and forth, but as you hinge it down and then up, you also get this confusing rocker.
I said slag off!
Cool.
Accessories!
Does this purse go with my bra, bruh?
Madelyne comes with a set of fisted hands and a set of magic-wielding or baby-holding hands. As for the effect piece, the green translucent plastic could have used a purple outline, or a secondary purple effect piece you could interlace together to make it more screen accurate. The star of the accessories, though, is little baby Nathan. There's no articulation, but the details are impressive on such a small accessory. The X logo is nicely printed on the blanket, and the face printing is better than half of the figures in my collection.
Go sit yourself.
Glued onto the body behind that brooch, the plastic cape is not removable, so unless she's magically gonna saw herself into two, Goblin Queen cannot go sit herself.
Hey! Sorry, didn't see you sitting there.
I think this goes without saying, but the original is always better. Here's Jean Grey. No need to go on Maury Povich. He is the father. Here's Mr. Sinister. Speaking of father, here's her baby daddy, Cyclops. Next up, from the Love Triangle 3-pack, here's Jean Grey. And while some would argue that the Jean Grey from this wave doesn't scale with this figure, this one does. And without having to compromise to a husband or a child, she's free as a bird. Here's Dark Phoenix. And the reds don't quite match up on the hair, so she's going straight into the trash. Here's Marvel Girl, Jean Grey. And lastly, multiple men, and the clone of all clones, Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper.
Think unsexy thoughts. Think unsexy thoughts.
Watching Madelyne's transformation into the Goblin Queen for the first time, I had some questions. 1. Will her action figure be able to stand without a flight stand? And 2. Has Jean secretly been a Sailor Moon fan this whole time? Looking at a side-by-side, you'll see that her boots are supposed to be thigh-highs. Good luck to anyone trying to match the skin tone to make it screen accurate. Comment below if anyone manages to pull it off.
Giggity.
You know, she must be magic, because her hair sculpt is salon worthy, but it does restrict the head movement. Goblin Queen's cape is dynamic as a stiff plastic cape can be. It flows behind the shoulders enough so that the arms can still move freely, but it is back heavy. Coupled with her high heels makes standing almost impossible, making her a nightmare to pose.
Well, at least I don't have a small waist and long legs.
Yeah, you should slump.